apologizing to you. I have been socially not adroit this morning. I have a special guest who's here. He was here last year with us as well, and he needs to be introduced. My friend Michael Steinman, he's all of our friends, but Michael Steinman is sitting back there. So I need to say a few things about Michael. Michael is our token New Yorker. But we forgive him for that. He has, for a number of years now, been writing a daily blog on the internet that's devoted to many aspects of jazz. He goes out and hears a lot of jazz. He films a lot of... That's my cell phone. Sorry, everybody. You want to hear
Prices downtown.
Is that cool? He films live jazz, and he puts that on his blog and talks about the performances he's seen. I'm sure we'll see some of this on his blog next week. Yep. He also does a lot of his history of jazz. He's a tremendously knowledgeable guy with an extensive collection of things like records and posters and books, and just very knowledgeable. The reason I'm telling you this is I have a stack of his business cards here on the piano. I strongly urge you to take a card, look him up online. His blog is Jazz Lives or Jazz Lives, and there will be a link on the card. Sign up for it. You won't regret it. It's fascinating every day to see the stuff he writes about. And it's not just New York musicians, because Michael makes the rounds of the circuit, so you'll hear people from all over. So Michael Steinman.
I don't know whether to ask you or to ask Mike, but I have a tape, and it's Guy Lombardo, and he does a great version of Tiger Rag and St. Louis Blues with all the verses. Can you get it on a disc? Can I get it on a CD? Yeah.
I don't know.
You know, I can answer that. There are replicating companies who have the equipment to do that. You can actually buy equipment to do that these days, but it's probably, for just one thing, it's probably more than you would want to do. It'd be more cost effective to find, look them up under audio companies or recording companies in the phone book and call around and see who's got the equipment to put a cassette onto a disc. But it can be done, yeah. I want to say one more thing before I turn this over to Chris. I was remiss and didn't say this in my introduction of him, but I thought that you should know. Chris is a self-taught piano player. And to this day, Chris, I thought you'd like to know that. To this day, Chris learns things mostly by ear. He listens to it and reproduces it on the piano. And so does that give you a huge appreciation of the skill of this fellow? And now I turn the program back to Mr. Excitement.
Thank you, Sue. Big Mama Sue, ladies and gentlemen. So where were we? At vaudeville, and vaudevillian musicians were learning jazz, hearing jazz, loving jazz, starting to spread it out. And pretty soon jazz became little bits and pieces of the vaudeville shows. And people started hearing jazz, and it wasn't just a form of music anymore, it became a form of entertainment. And Louis Armstrong, as a great instrumental trumpet, was also a clown. And he was the perfect guy to take jazz and incorporate entertainment, but still keep the integrity of the music in there. And I want to demonstrate this. I wonder if Sue and Ed could demonstrate this for me with a tune that was one of Louis Armstrong's early big hits called Big Butter and Eggman.
Big butter what?
Can you do that?
Well, I can answer you.
They can't do it, so let's go on to the next thing.
That's fair. All right. Can I have my microphone back?
Oh, sure.
This microphone? Thank you.
What key is this?
E flat. People ask why we use the microphones in here, because this, you probably can hear, this room has magnificent acoustics. We could be doing this without the microphones, actually. We chose to use them because we have 3 long days of performing ahead, and this really does give us a little boost in here. Oh,
We gotta play one chorus?
Pardon?
One chorus or two or?
Yeah, why don't we do 2 choruses, and Sue will do the Louis Armstrong part, and you do the
no, we're not going to do it that way. We'll work it out. You want to play it in?
Yeah.
Okay. A plan is born. We're really into tight arrangements, you can tell.
But entertain, don't just play the song.
Entertain.
Oh, why would they do that?
Well, that man will be from way out in the west. You're from the west,
right.
aren't you?
You got that part right.
I'm sick and tired of working all day.
All the poor thing.
I want a big, strong man who just wants me to play.
Oh, let me tell you.
Fancy clothes and diamonds have never been mine.
Oh, that's what I'm gonna buy.
If my dreams come true, that sun's gonna shine.
Oh, yeah. What do you want, Mama?
A big butter and egg man.
Well, I'm afraid you're looking down the wrong
Does a
pipe.
great big butter and egg man want me?
No, baby. Now, Sue,
Yes?
you know what I want?
What do you want?
I want a nice, big, strong male. No, I want...
You're a sick puppy.
I hope you don't have to work all day, you know.
Well, I hope I don't have to work all day
And
either.
find somebody who wants to play.
I want to play.
You want to play?
Yeah, I do.
Well, send her around, will you? I know her love will be true, just like you are, Big Mama Sue.
Just for you, baby, yeah.
Oh,
He wants
he wants
big butter and egg man.
I want a big
But he's
butter
not
and egg
going to get
woman.
one. Does a great big butter and egg man want me?
Well, there you go.
That was exactly what I wanted. I wanted the ghost of Louis Armstrong to come down and inhabit the bodies of these two. And I think that's pretty much what happened.
Oh, my God.
So, if you want me to get the microphone back, let me know, or I just speak right here. If everybody can hear me, I don't know.
Yeah, take the mic back.
Okay.
I can take a hit.
So jazz started traveling through vaudeville shows and recordings, and it made its way to New York. And New York was maybe a little more European. And
Dive. Dive.
Oh, it's from Iowa. We're in trouble.
Oh, no.
I got to do this. Hello.
Get that on tape.
yes,
Yeah.
Sue, I have a question about the festival this coming weekend. When do we start? What's our schedule?
Any what? No, there are not. Okay. Have you arrived? Are you here? This is the Wolf Chokers, everybody, and they're here. We're in the middle of teaching a Rhodes Scholar class right now, and they're all going to come hear you, right? Right. All right. I'll talk to you later, okay? Bye-bye.
That was Louis Armstrong. He wanted his song back.
Barehanded.
There, it's off. They can't find me.
So jazz made its way to New York, and It was maybe a little, I want to say sophisticated, but that's not really the word. Maybe a little more refined, or they took all the raw genius that they heard in New Orleans and added a little more light, kind of a lifting sound to it. Paul Whiteman was the spearhead of that, and Paul Whiteman had a trumpet player named Bix Beiderbecke, and he was, I don't want to say he was Louis' equal, I don't want to say he was Louis' opposite, but he was complementary to Louis Armstrong in a different way. He was focused less on power and maybe a little more on lilting lyrical melodies, and he was also a piano player and a great composer. He wrote a lot of tunes. He lived a hard, short life, unfortunately. But yes.
The barehanded wolf chokers are from Bix Beiderbecke's home turf, and they are going to be doing one special set this weekend called A Tribute to Bix. So look that up on your program.
Good. So when let me just demonstrate a little bit about what Bix brought to the music. One of his hits was called Singing the Blues. And without Bix, it might have sounded something like this. But what he did was he added little passing chords and little transitions and little things inside the melody notes. So when he played it, it might have sounded like this. So you can hear the movement of the music, and it just made it flow and was a little tender. I would like to play just a couple choruses of that tune because it's one of my favorites. Do you know this? Okay, we're all going to play this.
They didn't ask.
I know you. You're practically a barehanded wolf choker.
Barely.
I want to choke them. They're following me in a little. Never mind.
As opposed to the more percussive, hard sound that you got out of New Orleans. And around the mid-late 20s, jazz started going from the kind of hard ragtime, maybe a little bit choppy, but still very rhythmic sound to what we call swing. And swing gave way to a variety of styles. The thing you will probably most associated with swing are the big bands, Benny Goodman and Glenn Miller and Count Basie and all those guys. I want to demonstrate the little bit of the difference between the European marching music and ragtime and swing and how that transition was made. Sue, yesterday she used Old Dan Tucker as an illustration of the marching music into ragtime, where if you heard it as in the marching band style, you might hear Old Dan Tucker, Old Dan Tucker, Old Dan Tucker. Whereas when you got into ragtime, it got more choppy, and as Sue said, when it sounded a little more natural, like natural speaking. Old Dan Tucker, Old Dan Tucker. And when you got into swing, it started to, the beat started to move even more, and it became something more like Old Dan Tucker, Old Dan Tucker, Old Dan Tucker, hey. And people liked swing because you could point at someone and say, hey. And it became very popular for that reason and that reason only. Let me illustrate another way. Let me take a ragtime tune that we played yesterday, Maple Leaf Rag, and play it as it was written in the ragtime style. That's in the ragtime style. Now, if I were to swing that, it might sound like this. You hear that difference? Something someone asked that perfectly illustrates the difference between one of the elements, one of the jazz categories of swing is that's mostly solo piano is called stride piano. Stride piano is to swing as ragtime was to those, as ragtime is to ragtime. Jazz piano takes elements of ragtime and adds swing to it. One of the big elements of ragtime piano was a left hand that played both the bass and the banjo or guitar part. So you've got the bass part here, and you've got the banjo or guitar part here.
Well, I guess I could go.
And so you're kind of emulating a band just on the piano. And stride piano took that, but it added a swing to it. One of the most famous stride pieces of all time is called Handful of Keys, written by a man named Fats Waller. Fats Waller was to stride piano what Louis Armstrong was to the trumpet, or Scott Joplin was to ragtime. And they didn't invent it, but they perfected it, I guess you would say. One of Fats Waller's most famous tunes is Handful of Keys. Now, if you played it straight and didn't swing it, it might sound like this. But when you swang it the way that he wanted, it would sound like this. Instead of bump, 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 bump. So I'm going to play a fast version of Fats Waller's Handful of Keys to show you where the music started going in the late 20s and early 30s.